Hey Leute, die Gamescom läuft und wir haben Gäste da, die haben mit Virtual Reality zu tun. Und das ist ja wirklich kein Geheimnis, dass wir total auf Virtual Reality stehen. Und da haben wir uns gedacht, laden wir mal ordentlich Leute ein, die damit zu tun haben. Auf der Gamescom ist das eine großartige Gelegenheit. Und wir haben heute auch noch viele andere tolle Sachen zum Virtual Reality Thema. Aber anfangen wollen wir gerne erstmal mit Jean-Charles und also JC. Can I call you JC?
Yeah, much easier.
It's much easier. And Andrew.
And it's less cool than Jay-Z, but sure.
No.
All right, and you guys are from CCP Games.
That's right, yeah.
And CCP Games is known for Eve.
Yes, yeah, known predominantly for EVE Online, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big MMO in space where you shoot other space fighters.
Yeah,
and
I hear that. There's a couple of guys playing it, you know.
yeah, it's actually
MMO ever made.
it's actually
Yeah, it's okay.
yeah,
Why not?
it's not to underestimate. It's the MMO in space, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
correct.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
everybody's waiting for it, right? I mean, everybody's waiting for your approach in putting a game, a real game, into virtual reality. So,
Yeah. No,
we have talked about it before. It's great pressure, right?
it's it's a lot of pressure, like you say. Well, you know, it's about meeting those expectations, but also over delivering on those expectations. I think it's a real challenge. We're putting people really in the front seat, in the pilot's cockpit, you know, launching them straight out of that tube. And you know, if we do our job correctly, you should be kind of competent pilot within seconds, but a master over a period of months. You know, nice nuanced controls that allow everyone to kind of get those kills and feel a bit badass. But then, you know, the real killers and healers will kind of make themselves known over a course of weeks and months.
And you get the perfect genre. Everybody who's doing virtual reality doesn't know. Okay, how do I walk? How do I put my hands and stuff? But
Put it in
just
the cockpit.
sit. Put it in the cockpit.
Just
Everything's
flying.
fine. Racing games and space games or piloting games are perfect, right?
This is it, yeah. And we've had a few questions on the show floor. People saying, "Well, why do you think space is so popular for VR?" It's like, well, because it allows you to do something you can't do normally. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm probably not going to want to play VR to sit at my desk, you know, and type an email. I want to be in space. You know, it's the ultimate fantasy. It's somewhere that most of us will never get to go. So.
Now, how does it work? You're developing a game while the hardware you're developing for is also developing. So I mean, stuff like eye tracking, new text that is coming along the way. How do you work with such an uneasy ground?
Well, it's constantly shifting sand, but the design of the game, we know the fundamentals of what we want from the game. You know, we want to be the #1 competitive VR title on launch. We know we're going to launch on Oculus. We know we're going to launch on Sony Morpheus. And as they make improvements, we just support those improvements. You know, there'll come a time when someone goes, by the way, we're shipping next week, and we go, all right, okay, quick, get this thing in the box. But you know, having increased kind of resolution, lower latency, all of those things, they just add to amplify the immersion and the experience. But ultimately, you need a good game, and so it's the gameplay that we're really focusing on.
All right. So you, Andrew, are developing for Oculus Rift the Eve Valkyrie.
That's right. Yeah.
And right next to you, JC, you are developing for the Samsung telephone for Samsung Gear, which are two different things, right? We got it right here.
Exactly.
It's not. There's no phone inside, but that's what it looks like without a phone.
Yeah. The big difference is the Oculus Rift is a standalone device, and this one you put like the telephone right in front of you, right?
Exactly. I can show you now.
You
So
start
it's
the app,
actually
you
live
put it
demo.
in.
Exactly.
And I've tried it before. It actually works pretty well. It works plug and play, which is
Yeah,
awesome for
absolutely.
virtual reality.
So that's basically kind of two ends of the spectrum in VR. There's the kind of PC console experience, very deep and rich experience.
Yeah.
And then the other end of the spectrum, which is kind of pick up and play arcade experience, still in New Eden, still in the universe of Eve, our maker. But it's a different take on it. And I think it's quite crazy what you can deliver also on such a small phone.
Yeah.
So what are the reactions of people who haven't heard of virtual reality, who see it the first
It's
time?
awesome to show people for the first time,
I mean,
right? It's the best.
a lot
It's shock and awe.
I showed my grandma. She saw it's a witch in there.
Yeah, but usually they're kind of like where's the cable for that one? They're like, where is it going? Like, no, it's all in front of your face.
Will it take my soul?
It's like exactly, it's like dark magic. What the hell? So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, I think the first time that arrived in the office, so I was on a swivel chair, and I swiveled all the way around. I was like, this is great.
No
I didn't
cable.
choke myself.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a fantastic bit of kit.
It's
So-
the same game we are showing, but it's for mobile, and it's got a different name, right?
Yeah. So it's 2 different games. There's
Yeah.
basically Valkyrie and Gunjack.
Yeah.
Valkyrie is the one, of course, the biggest running truck that's going full speed, and it's gonna break everything on its way. And then there's basically Gunjack, which is the mobile take on a where you're basically kind of more of an arcade experience where you're defending a mining barge in New Eden, and kind of a bunch of Eve ships, very well-known ships, are coming at you, and you're blowing the hell out of them.
Is there a multiplayer mode planned? Because you're sitting in the turret of a giant ship, you already told us, and it would fit perfectly to a multiplayer experience, like 10 turrets talking to each other. Okay, get that one, get that one.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
planning with
yeah.
stuff like that,
Uh,
or is it maybe too complex for such a casual game?
No, I think multiplayer is on the path at one point. Perhaps not for Gunjack and not as in its current version, but it's CCP has always been about multiplayer. So it's always on our way somewhere. Absolutely.
I think multiplayer and virtual reality has to be the greatest combination ever imagined.
You should visit our office sometime. Half the office versus half the office
We
in
had
VR
a- yeah.
space dogfight, and it
We
gets
had
pretty
a
heated.
PCAST tournament at FanFest in March in Reykjavik, the headquarters of CCP, where it was actually kind of a competition, PvP, full on in Valkyrie, and that was awesome. That was epic, really epic. So
You really see the classes getting used then as well. Taking out a heavy, coming out in a fighter.
Oh, I'd like to try that.
It's pretty kick-ass.
Are you thinking about combining all the different games into a bigger experience, like EVE Online and EVE Valkyrie? I mean, it's the same universe.
We get asked that a lot, but I mean, we're all part of the same universe, but we kind of needed to be separate, basically, to play to the strengths of each game. Valkyrie kind of needed to be a separate story from normal EVE Online, and that just means we can focus on that immediate. I joke, but it's like Top Gun in space. How do you make someone feel as badass as Tom Cruise?
can always
Chasing
be
MiGs
my
and shooting
wingman.
them. Yeah, that's exactly it. How do we get
And
those
do you
moments?
have space beach volleyball? That's very important.
Yes.
It isn't Top Gun without volleyball.
No, we
Yeah.
definitely.
We started by the
it's a
outfits.
good idea.
We're working on the outfits.
Yeah.
at the moment.
And you
Short,
definitely get the
that's
breast
how
physics right. Breasts in space is a very
Exactly.
difficult
And in VR.
territory.
And in VR. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Great.
no
I'd like to see some. I'd like to see the game now. Not let's take a step back
Okay.
from the Gear VR
Okay.
and now concentrate on the Oculus
Okay,
version.
you're right.
Of,
Yes.
I definitely want to explain this
Right.
again and again, because people often mix up. Okay, this is Samsung Gear, this is Oculus
Yeah.
VR, and there's so many competitors there
It's
right
getting
now.
complicated.
Yeah.
Right now, we're talking about Oculus Rift with you,
Yeah.
about EVE Valkyrie and
That's right,
the
yeah.
new version. And
Yeah.
you've got some images, some video to show.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'd
we've
like to
got
see
some
how the
footage.
game looks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stuff that we're going to show now is it's a trailer that we kind of showed at FanFest this year. People went crazy for it, and what we did is we made that playable so that people could actually play it on the show floor. We've got that with us now at Gamescom. It's the same one we had at E3 a little bit earlier in the year, and people are absolutely loving it. So I think we're in Nvidia's stand, we're in Oculus's booth. We've got our own area as well, and so we're seeing lots of VR faces, and this is the moment that
The start,
for me-
everybody's
Yeah,
doing that.
everybody
This
loves it.
acceleration, everybody
Yeah.
loved that.
And this is what sold me on VR as well.
Yeah,
When I first experienced this and that whole, it's this Vitruvian architecture, the idea of being in this tight corridor, like, and then suddenly open up into this expansive
Were you
space.
inspired by Battlestar Galactica, or is it
Oh,
like...
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
massively. We've got
iconic images
Katie
like
Sackhoff
that.
does the voice of our main hero, Ram,
okay.
the character,
Yeah.
So we've got
Great.
Starbuck in
All
our
right.
So
I
yeah,
think
she's
that's
actually
just
giving you
awesome.
instruction now.
Everybody wants to be involved in such big fights
Yeah.
like that. So I'm not that familiar with the EVE Online universe. Could I play one of these big behemoth
Yeah, I think
spaceships?
there's a lot of the ships that
Yeah.
are from EVE Online are actually that we're using. There's a Titan that actually turns up at the end of this mission, and all hell breaks loose. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff from EVE Online. We've got a lot of obviously brand new designs because we kind of need to be flexible. So, you know, when you're looking at the gameplay, you're looking at what kind of weapons upgrades people want, you know, how they want to customize their ship. We need to have that flexibility to create new stuff. So for all, you'll see some stuff from EVE Online. There's a lot of new stuff in there.
Okay.
It's really exciting.
You have a great art design.
Yeah,
I think
it's nice.
I like really that
But we gotta
bulky design. I don't know.
You
how
gotta
to-
pay
to-
attention. I think
Yeah.
I saw the trailer, and in about a second, I
Ah,
think shit
there's
will break
coming.
loose.
Yeah, it's coming.
glimpse.
Yeah.
Yeah, now
All
we
hell
get into
breaks
the
loose.
action.
Yeah.
The red ones are the evil
Yeah.
ones.
It's a trap.
Yeah, definitely.
Get the fuck
I mean, it looks to me, it looks like the game is already finished. I gotta say. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just in that demo
It's,
area.
Oh, I mean, it's in an advanced state. We are in full production right now, and as I've said, I was kind of stressed at E3 earlier this year, was that we're not making a demo.
Yeah.
This is not a technical
It's not
showpiece. This
another
is an
tech
actual
demo.
game. We are fully into production.
Okay.
And so, you know, we're looking at all of the things that people will expect from a multiplayer
How long will it
shooter.
take until finish?
I couldn't tell you, because that might give you a vague idea of the time scales that we're working to.
All right.
Let's just say early next year. We'll see what happens.
Okay,
Yeah, but
I can work with that. Just
Yeah,
a year is
yeah.
fine.
So I mean, like when the hardware's ready, in theory,
Yeah.
we'll be ready to launch with it. you know.
I have a very big problem with. No, let me say it like this. I see a very big problem coming because now everything is a prototype. All those glasses are prototypes, and even if they get released for customers out there, they still are some kind of prototypes. I fear that in very short time distances, new versions of those virtual reality glasses will be released, and people have to upgrade them, like their iPhones, every year. And
It's going to be the new Guitar Hero.
yeah, like
you know,
the new guitar, the new
new
guitar,
year,
and
new gear.
yeah.
I
Is
think
this
if
a
you-
problem
if you-
you're thinking about?
No, I think if you get a chance, swing by the Oculus booth and have a look at the finished consumer version. It's like velvet coated. It's really,
It's
really
coming
nice.
together really well,
It's
yeah.
really nice. And you know, the resolution, like I said, the latency, all of the tech that's in there is, I would say, you know, it's future-proofed for a good while. And you know, same with, you know, Morpheus. When you actually try that, that's a really well-designed,
I love
ergonomically
Morpheus, yeah.
well-balanced
I mean,
piece of
and the
kit.
controllers work so good.
Yeah, and it's an immediate platform as well. You've got like 28 million PS4 adopters worldwide. You know, if anyone's going to actually break VR, Sony's in a really good position, you know, to get
I
a lot of
think so.
people on board with it.
I've heard some criticism of people who say, it's going to be the next 3D televisions, you know,
No,
stuff that
no.
gets sold just
Do you know what,
for
I-
the purpose to get sold. But what do
No.
you say to people like that? I mean, you're in the
I don't
center
think
of
they've
it.
tried
Keywords,
it.
just try.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying
That's
always,
exactly
yeah.
it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like you, I mean, and it's true. I mean, that's something we've discussed a lot. 3D TVs and stuff is a good example in some ways of something that kind of flopped. You just try, and then you go and like, okay, I'm sold. When's that coming out? Brum. So
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to just kind of, you know, pick up and play it. I think.
I think it's 95%.
Yeah.
I think 95% is just, you know,
I've
they've got
never
the
seen
VR face,
someone
they take
saying,
it off
"No,
and they're
that's
like,
nothing for me."
Oh my God.
After
Everybody-
trying, no.
Yeah,
Does
and
he-
I've never seen somebody saying no,
he
it's
left
not for me.
everything to join CCP.
Yeah,
when he
yeah,
actually
yeah.
tried.
Yeah,
He just went,
yeah.
take me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was, yeah, that's pretty much true. That's pretty much true. It blew me away at,
Would you
at
take me
GDC.
to? If I want to. Sure. He's just talking.
You can't go and say no.
No, we don't want to. That's awesome. So, what are the games you are looking for? I mean, like a Drift or virtual reality experiences, like they are called. Is there anything you say? I'm looking forward to this game from I don't know publisher.
Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing with the controllers is incredibly interesting right now. I was lucky enough to bump into Palmer actually at Oculus, who says, try out these new controllers. And so I had this amazing kind of demo in a room where it's looking at my fingers and making fists and flicking objects in this entire virtual world, you know, playing with catapults and stuff, but socially. So there's someone else there with me. We're chatting. We're actually playing table tennis in
grab the
VR.
ball and stuff.
Yeah, and it was such a kind of a wow, you know. So seeing that and seeing where people are pushing VR in other areas, it really inspires you. And for all, you know, we're probably not going to go full on hands waving around in the cockpit. It does make you think, ooh, how could we incorporate that? You know, how could we do that within our systems or our UI
I mean,
further down the line?
If we had some kind of gloves, you could like add hands and you could like push the buttons manually in the cockpit, so it would be totally immersive.
Applications are endless. That's at least what gets me going in VR. It's like when you start thinking about it a bit and you're like,
Right.
holy cow, okay, we could
Yeah.
do this, we
Yeah.
could do that, we could. But one thing
Endless.
important to me though, I think it has to stay natural and easy to, just like what mobile phones brought in some ways, like kind of natural motion and stuff. I think it has to apply to VR, and that's why it works really well with like head tracking and stuff. It's natural. You get it quickly, and I think that's really cool.
I tried the Morpheus experiences, the actual ones from London Studio London.
Yeah.
And they were awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they were totally self-explanatory.
Explanatory.
It's our studio in Atlanta who's working on some of the small stuff, or
Right there. Yeah.
I think that's the one you're.
Yeah, I've had that British
Yeah.
brute talking to me shit and trying to
okay,
torture
that's
me, and then I got that
Yes,
shootout
that's different.
with a
It's the
table.
bank job, I think it is. or
Yeah,
something
it's
like that.
the heist
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, the
and,
heist.
on the street, like
Yes.
I don't know what it was, a race
Yeah,
with
yeah.
guns. So it was. I guess that everybody who gets thrown into that universe automatically realizes what he has to do. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need a weapon. I can get shoot at.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get to cover. So do you think we could get people into games that weren't into games before?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, the
much
controller
same-
is a big,
and much the
it's a
same way
hassle
that we did. You know, it was like, right, we're going to play table tennis, and suddenly it feels natural to do this. And I think expositions and a traditional games exposition will evolve differently in VR. You know, because your first hurdle is when you put that on, you are totally in the world. So you know, you need to understand that a lot of your gamers might not know all of the controls. You know, I mean, we're going to support a wide range of peripherals, but the idea of playing something like Valkyrie on a keyboard and mouse, I'm not sure people would be ready for that.
I'm
So-
not sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But one question. Sorry, I'm sorry. I just have to ask that.
Do it.
I'm sorry. It's just, where do you see virtual reality like in 5 years, which is an awesome, giant span of time for something that is developing so quick?
Have you read Ready Player One?
Yeah, it's going to in that direction, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's feasible. I definitely think it's feasible.
I think it's gonna be blue.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Blue. No, I'm kidding. I think it's probably blue. Something like that.
Blue. All right.
No. But yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna evolve. The next 5 years will be key for VR. There's no question. There's gonna be on the hardware, on the content, our side. There's gonna be, I think, a lot of innovation still. Like that's what's really cool. I think it's just the start of that trend.
And pushing the social as well, I think, because that
Yes.
we've got to get over that hurdle as a perception that VR is very isolated, and because
Exactly.
you are fully immersed, but that's not the case. You know, when you're actually out there as a team, you know, chatting to each other, organizing attacks, it's incredibly
We have
social.
a fairly small R&D team in Atlanta who's playing with this kind of more like, Wii Sports type thing, kind of stuff which are like really easy, grabbable, play, send each other like something or a disc, and that works really well. And that's super social, and that's something you play with other people and stuff. You need the setup and a big enough living room right now, but it's so applications on that also on the social side and stuff are endless also. Yeah.
So you guess that stuff that's coming to, I don't know, Facebook in a few years, mini games, sport games.
I can imagine.
I mean-
Yeah, you don't pay $2 billion for a company
Yeah.
lightly, do you?
I heard Oculus
But
and
yeah, I'm
Facebook
thinking
are
there has
quite-
to be more,
quite close
you
to
know?
each other.
Yeah, I think they're quite close.
to each other.
Yeah, I'm
no
pretty,
more than they want to tell.
No, I'm pretty excited.
I got the wink.
But that side. So they
No,
can't
no,
see
there
the-
was no
See,
wink.
that was super pro.
No wink at all.
Let's get a friend request in quick.
Yeah, he's actually pro. He knows what he's doing.
I would like to switch over to our next part, which is the Gear VR,
start.
made by Samsung, where you put your phone in front of you,
Exactly.
and
So
which
first
is
you need to try
wireless.
it without the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look how great you look. Really smart that way.
Oh,
There you go. Just blink your eyes.
finally I got glasses.
Can look at each other. Look, it looks amazing that way. Okay, you need the phone actually.
I love it.
Sorry,
know it
you have to
already.
do that
Adorable.
every time.
Looks like a
Not getting tired
stormtrooper.
of this.
All right, and so now you're setting up your phone, which holds the Eve Gunjack
That's right.
version, which
That's
is a
right.
mobile version of Eve Valkyrie, and which
So, no,
I guess
it's
got
not,
some.
It's a different game.
It's a different
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
It's it's more like I don't want to say rail shooter because that's not quite true. You're sitting in a turret
Exactly. So you're more in a static position in that case. You're defending a mining barge, and then you have all the if ships kind of coming at you, or the variety of if ships that we know that you need to basically blow up in some ways. And you have these huge boss fights, epic boss fights coming sometimes and stuff. So you talked about big ass titans or Titans and stuff. So these type of ships will come at you, and then you're basically your turret 8. Because you don't really have a name since you're replaceable, you die a lot.
Yeah, sure.
and that's why it's called Gunjack. You are actually a Gunjack, basically the guy that's here to defend the mining barge.
Okay. Sadly, we can't grab the footage, which is as Simon's seeing right now. That's why you brought the trailer. You brought some B-roll, which we put on screen instead of that, and so we can imagine what Simon is seeing right now.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'd like to describe it. I mean, it's quite awesome. I see an asteroid field, and from the right side, there's coming like that really, really large ship, and it's coming from up, from down, from all sides. And now I'm like in the ship, and I look around, and I just get a grip at the sheer size of that ship, and it feels really cool. It got no delay. It's fluid, and it just looks cool. I mean, you got some great ship design.
Yeah.
It's nice to look at.
Give you notes for that.
a lot of details, a lot of tech babble, a lot of tech to look at.
Yeah, I like that because there are very, very, very big space games right now. We got Elite, we got the Star Citizen, which you need to take lessons to learn, and that's what has been missing, I guess. Those little arcade-like space games, and you got the perfect platform.
I would love to grab that handle and I don't know,
totally
just
easy.
close my cockpit.
You can put it on your face if you're driving a car. It's everything's possible.
That's the typical use of it.
I want to do it.
I mean, you're spot on. You're spot on with the whole kind of pick up and play, easy, inspired on the good old kind of arcade experience. It's just instant fun. Yeah, that's kind of what we went for here. Absolutely.
You have it's nice. You have some notes in the cockpit. I can't read it, but it looks
fairly.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture of your family on the right.
Yeah, and now I can press the button, which is kind of awkward to press the button right on your glasses.
Yeah.
Can you put a gamepad? Can you connect the gamepad?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll support gamepad, absolutely. Yeah.
It has a Bluetooth gamepad. We've used at Rocket Beans.
And then you
reload. I have to reload.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And you talked about kind of natural motion and stuff. This is supposed to be like just easy to play, super easy to play, and that's pick up and play is just move your head, look around, and just shoot with your the right touchpad, and that's it. And we really focused on not trying to add too much to that. So
I'm so excited to see the first people running around with those things, to see people sitting in buses or at bus stations and trains or wherever. Right now it's kind of exotic, and people gotta take this step to not feel awkward to use it in public. I think
our crew was using it in the plane coming here. They were actually playing with it in the plane. Yeah. Why not? I mean, you're sitting there, and then you have usually hours to kill, so why not? I mean,
it takes time for people to get comfortable with that, for people to realize what this is, to not feel like everybody's talking about you right now just because you're using those goggles and you're sitting somewhere. That's something you gotta get over with, which maybe takes more time than the technology that is developing.
Social,
right?
Social integration into society of VR. Yeah.
What's your opinion about augmented reality? Is it like the same thing but different, or is it like a complete other package?
Totally different, really.
It's totally
I would say. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's got its benefits. It supports a certain kind of game if you want to make a game with it, but it's not full immersion in the way that VR is. Exactly. You can see that, by the way. It's completely zoned out in another world right now.
I'm sorry, I'm an
He doesn't
idiot.
even
I
know
left
we're
my cell
waving at
phone.
him here.
I guess. Maybe someone can, I don't know, kick it.
Guck mal her, ist das aus hier?
Nein, das ist da rechts auf dem
Nein, das
Kühlschrank.
klingt, du weißt überhaupt nicht, wo du bist gerade im
Das ist
Weltraum.
rechts auf dem Kühlschrank. Wirklich.
Alles klar, es ist aus. Do you think augmented reality and virtual reality will merge in some way and there will be only one thing that is combined? We put a camera over there and that's it?
I think if you can do one, you can do the other. Today for gaming and core gaming, which is what we're going after, like VR kind of works better, just for kind of what we're making here content-wise. But I mean, you can quite easily then, I think the frontier between both will get more and more blurry because you'll always need, I think, to just kind of go black out, to have the full immersion, then kind of go and say, okay, I want to see what's going around me now, or have this kind of AR experience specific of putting something in front of trying, I don't know, a table in your living room. Like all these, I think media will absolutely converge at one point.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we've seen a few kind of demos and tech experiences that have pushed it. Things like pass-throughs on the camera, where you can actually see the outside world through the VR. The idea of just seeing what's going on, just to sanity check that the family's still all right as you've been in this other world. And also, you've seen stuff like when people are moving around an environment, cameras that actually scan the environment so they can alert you to the fact there's a coffee table here. And it breaks the fourth wall, but at least it stops you tripping over your coffee table. So I think there'll definitely be a blending point of tech.
Actually, when we got smartphones, which is a couple of years ago, augmented reality was already possible. Much earlier than virtual reality got, it's not yet mainstream, but it entered our lives. And why do you think, I got the feeling augmented reality did not really work well. We all had those apps on the telephones.
It's still 2D though, isn't it? You're looking at a 2D screen and you see beyond that and you see the 3D element overlaid. So although it's fun, when it's actually on your face, it becomes a lot more real. So, if I give you an iPad now and I tell you that one of those cans is an augmented item, and you look at it, it's different to actually having glasses on your face, and it's there, it's a very different kind of tech.
I would really not kind of, think that AR is going to flop or not work. I think it's going to take more time, or it's going to take time to kind of take off. But applications are also, I think, endless on AR. It's really, I think it's going to be a success, no question. It's a matter of timing, I think, but
It says best player ever. So it's talking to me.
You broke it.
Yeah,
that's the book version,
right? That just for you. Just I can hit something on the side and you're the best player, best score.
Have you guys tried a Google Glass?
I have not, no. I've never tried that.
What do you think about that?
Same thing. I think it's really close to, kind of, I see a ton of applications. I see a bit of a hunt to get applications done right with it and stuff. But I'm a strong believer. I'm probably an easy one to convert. But
well, I saw some glasses once that were really cool for snowboarding. So I like snowboarding, and they had like augmented reality elements. So it was actually like a speedo, and it had like I think it was like a future project showing you the route down a mountain.
Just like geolocation or just like a bunch of live data that you need, and I think applications there are like really clear. I feel at least.
Before long, all cars. In the realms of iRobot,
if you're done,
Minority Report.
We'll be fine if you can take it off,
I'm
because
never
I
done.
really have a hard time understanding those two guys over there. If you're shooting out asteroids in space.
But I gotta save the Earth or the space, or I don't know what I'm saving. Okay, I love it.
Let me try it just a second.
It's really like a cool arcade game. It's going to be great for like the train ride, for casual gaming, as you said. And I hope it's going to bring some people to your universe. Which is like more advanced universe.
Yeah, well, I think they'll all feed into each other. You'll get fans of EVE Online that want to adopt Valkyrie and Gunjack. They'll be a flow.
At the back. I can hear he needs to reload.
All right, now I get it. Now I know what you're talking about. Now I get it.
Geil.
Yeah, it's nice. Very nice.
Gefällt dir auch, das ist doch schön.
Yeah, it's more like it's more arcadey, like Cabinet, like Galaga, where people with spaceships flying in front of you.
Invaders and all right. Like a good old kind of that's what we went for. So,
because if you're talking about Valkyrie, you're always in this big thinking big space, big ships, very, very big gameplay. And this is more is the easygoing, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so when's this finished?
Soon.
It
soon.
looks
We're
quite
talking.
finished.
We're talking. Weeks to get it done and released. So it's probably the next few months, more or less, it will be out and ready on the Oculus Store. Yeah.
And after that, I mean, you I'm pretty sure you already
and
got
after
plans.
that, we own the world.
Right. Okay. That's your plan.
That's the plan. No, but I mean,
Small goals. You know.
Yeah. You got to start with small
No,
steps.
no, I mean this all. I mean, we see that as super big achievements and stepping stones for a lot more experiences, a lot more diverse experiences. Like, I mean, that's what I mean. There's we're ambitious on that one, clearly. The team, more importantly, is super passionate because the teams that we have working on both Valkyrie and Gunjack are a super passionate team about VR. And they you can expect more.
Yeah,
This
I think it's important to get a community and build it as well. You know,
Yeah,
like,
and
and
you already
that
got one.
the longevity of having all of those people kind of progressing
Absolutely.
together and building it and nurturing it and supporting it with.
How,
you know,
how does it
playing
feel
styles.
to be the spearhead of such a technical culture, to be a pioneer in such
Feels
a way?
pretty awesome, I have to say. It's like
People
I
are
think
looking
it-
up to you. Are you looking down on
No, God,
2D developers?
no.
2 dimensions.
Why?
Are you
I'm
kidding?
look-
Screen.
I'm looking forward to the day we end up with a large booth downstairs. 5 seats back to back, everyone in pilot chairs. Get some VR headsets that are made up to look like Round, our hero's mask.
Yeah.
Actually have them like that in flight suits.
Yeah.
And it's just
That would be great.
projected on a big screen. I'm looking forward to seeing an epic dogfight
And
under
it's gonna
those
happen.
circumstances. Yeah,
It's
I
certainly
hope so,
gonna come.
yeah.
It's gonna change everything. And if you played that, you will never go back. Why would you play on a normal screen if this is going mainstream? If you got all the games in there, the whole Gamescom, all those fairs all around the world will look like different. You have to sit in these things. You will have very big problems to show over the internet. If you make trailers, how do you do trailers for virtual reality?
You can do 360 trailers.
Yeah.
With
working on
YouTube,
some.
you
Yeah.
can look around in the video,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Which is
cool.
pretty
Can
cool,
you use?
yeah.
Could I combine that with an Oculus and look around in the video with my
I
Oculus
think
Rift?
they are
I
experimenting
mean,
with that. Yeah, there
technically
are
it
some
should be
videos.
possible,
Yeah,
right?
Yes. There's
Yeah.
already a few examples already. Yeah.
There's
It's
VR
going to
movies,
change
so-
everything. I really think it's going to change.
Absolutely. Well,
Are you-
I
are
think
you
that's
thi-
our belief.
Yeah.
How does storytelling work in a virtual reality environment? If you can't, when you can't.
Look here. No.
Yeah, I mean,
here.
what do you do?
Yeah.
You have to introduce like a character people want to look at, so you have someone who
You can have
leads
actually
the way.
great sense of humor stuff because since we of course there's motion tracking and stuff, you could be like, look here, no, here. 'Cause you're like, we know where you're
Yeah,
looking.
yeah.
So you could be like, oh, sorry. It's like, yes, stay on me now. No, I mean it's going to change a lot the storytelling. No question.
It's a challenge
on
because
that,
you've
yeah.
got to kind of amplify everything, like even at the end of our level that we brought to Gamescom Convoy, there's a huge Titan turns up. This is the size of a Death Star from Star Wars, fires this massive laser, and people still don't see it because they are so focused on dogfight and on getting those kills in that chase. And you can put as much audio in their ears as possible. You can call it out visually. You could even put neon UI signs saying, "Look here," but there will be a chance that some people will not see that. But what matters is that that's not a fail. That if they
that's a
understand
freedom.
why they might have.
And I actually think it's also going to be a new avenue for interactive storytelling, and where you can be in the action, in the middle of it. Having, as I said, just look somewhere, interact with something. That type of stuff. I mean, you don't have to. I think be a genius to already start, envisioning some of this stuff happening in the near future.
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And it's so close.
It's so
it's
close.
very
You
close.
can
Next
feel
year,
it.
all those glasses will come out. Do you know the release date for this one? There's only you can't really buy these right now, not the normal way, right?
No, if normal way is in a store, no, not everywhere. In the US now, yes, but it's online in some selected countries. But it's available.
Yeah.
Like that's the
You can get it
Innovators Edition
already.
2, and that's available.
Yeah.
And that's actually, as you can see, already quite a nice set. You can do quite a bit with it already. So
Yeah, but I think 2016 is the year
It's a big year.
world changes.
Yep.
I hope we see again in
Yeah, most
2020
definitely.
maybe.
22.
Maybe not in person, maybe in virtual reality.
I'm coming back. I'm bringing those flight seats, man. I'm bringing those pilot
Bring it
suits.
on.
We're
We
gonna
fly
get
over.
We
that
look
sorted.
much better in VR.
Yeah, we
yeah.
actually
Can
don't
follow
need
us.
Gamescom anymore. We just say, okay, this day everybody's at Gamescom at home because we all
Virtual
virtual
Gamescom.
reality
Absolutely.
Gamescom.
Why not?
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see your show in VR.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be pornographic and everything. You don't want to see that. We're going that way. Definitely.
Let's not even go there.
We want to make the big money.
Unless you have another half hour.
But
That's
even,
our thing.
But even at virtual Gamescom, there will be queues, and you
Yeah.
have to stand in line for
Yeah.
like hours.
Sure. Look
Just
commercials.
for the real experience, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The simulator. Stand in the line simulator. That's the best.
Gamescom simulator, sweat and wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right.
guys, it was awesome talking.
Thanks for having us. man.
About
Thanks for
you,
having
with
us,
you,
yes.
about such a great topic. I mean, it's the most interesting topic, I guess, for the next years to come.
Yeah,
At
definitely.
least for us gamers.
Glad to
So
hear.
Thanks for being here.
Very
Yep.
glad to hear that.
You're gonna leave that
guys.
here, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
nice
well,
phone.
yeah, well.
I'll take it. Okay, I give it to you. Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Okay.
Thanks a
Jeder
lot.
Thanks for
draußen.
coming.
Thanks, yes.
Danke fürs Zuschauen.
Ja, das
Äh,
war doch großartig. TCP
ja.
Games mit Eve Valkyrie.
Kann ich empfehlen.
So echt gut, oder? Ja, bis dann.
Bis dann.